In this video, we'll be looking at our final exam. This is our review. We'll be looking at the even-numbered problems. Even problems. Alright, I'm looking at problem number 2. The numerator, we have these 4 terms. When there's 4 terms, I'm going to look to factor it using grouping. Alright, so looking at my first two terms, a cubed and a squared, the common factor is an a squared. Factoring out that a squared. A cubed divided by a squared is a to the first. A squared divided by a squared is a 1, so we have minus 1 here. Between these second two terms, we have 9 as a common factor. So I'm going to factor out actually a minus 9. Should you factor out a positive 9? Should you factor out a negative 9? Well, we know we want this inside term to be an a minus 1, so it's going to be necessary to factor out a minus 9. Negative 9a divided minus 9 is a. Plus 9 divided minus 9 is a minus 1. Alright, so keep in mind we want these inside terms to be the binomial parentheses to be the same. So let that help you decide what you're going to be factoring out there. Well, here's our trinomial. We can use our big X method, 2 parentheses. We know a squared is going to be a times a. Alright, coming with my big X now. In the bottom is b. Pardon me, in the bottom is a times c. That is 1 times negative 3. That's a negative 3. In the top is my b term. That's plus 2. Emphasize the signs. Since it's a minus down here, we need 1 plus and 1 minus. And 3 is going to be 3 times 1. The 3 being the positive to get my 3 here, and the 1 being my negative. These two will go here. A plus 3, a minus 1. Check to make sure that this multiplies to give this. A times a is a squared. Positive 3a and minus 1a is a positive 2a. And 3 times minus 1 is a minus 3. Alright. Now my numerator, I have this common a minus 1 factor. I can factor it out. And so that leaves a squared minus 9. Okay. All of this is over a plus 3. A minus 1. Alright. Well, hopefully you can see that a plus 1 will cancel with a plus 1, but also this is a difference of 2 squares. A squared minus 9 is the same as a plus 3. A minus 3. The a plus 3 cancels with the a plus 3 to leave only a minus 3. That's my final answer, a minus 3. Number 2 is a minus 3. Number 4. Alright. In my numerator, I notice they have the common factor 8 and y. Factoring out a 8 and y leaves me with a y cubed and minus 1. In my denominator, I notice they all have a 2 and they have a y squared, so I can factor out that 2y squared. It leaves me with the trinomial 2y to the 4th above a 2y squared is y squared. 2y cubed divided by 2y squared is y. 2y squared divided by 2y squared is 1. Alright. Now, this y cubed minus 1, it's a difference of 2 cubes. Remember our difference of 2 cubes form. It said a cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So we need to first identify our a and b. Well, this is pretty easy. It's just y and 1. Alright, so y is my a and 1 is my b. That's the cube root of both of those terms. So, up top, 8y. A minus b is y minus 1. A squared, well, a is y, so that becomes y squared. Plus ab, That's y times 1, 1y. Plus b squared, well, b is 1, so that's 1. So this is a difference of 2 cubes, and this is how it factors. All of this is over 2y squared times, and you can see that these two factors are like y squared plus y plus 1. Well, this term and this term divide to leave 1. 2 will divide with 8 to leave a 4. And y will divide one of these to leave a y in the denominator. So my final answer is 4y minus 1 over y. That is your answer for number 4. All right, number 6. Pretty straightforward canceling here. You see we have an x plus 4 and there's two x plus 4s, so one of these will cancel with one of these just to leave an x plus 4. Likewise with my x minus 3. There's two x minus 3 factors and one of them in the bottom, so one of these cancels with one of these. So I'm left with x minus 3 over x plus 4. And that is number 6. Number 8. This is a form we've seen several times. Here we have a minus 8. Here we have 8 minus a. Well, this is going to be equal to negative 1. But I'm going to show a couple of ways that we can deduce that. A minus 8 over 8 minus a. Well, let me factor out a negative 1 from the denominator. So in the numerator I have a minus 8. The denominator I have a negative 1 factor. Well, 8 divided negative 1 is a negative 8. Negative 8. Negative a divided negative 1 is a plus 8. Plus a, pardon me. 8 divided negative 1 is negative 8. Negative divided negative is a positive. Well, you can see this negative 8 plus a, another way to say that is a minus 8. A minus 8. So I still have my negative 1 out there, and I have this a minus 8 in the top. Well, a minus 8 will divide with a minus 8 to leave 1. So what we have is a 1 over negative 1, and that is indeed negative 1. All right. Now I just want you to look at what it's saying. It's saying take some number and subtract 8, then divide by 8, subtract that number. Well, any number you put in here, you'll see this division arrives at 1. Let's just substitute 5. 5 in for a here, and 5 in from a here. 5 minus 8, well, that is negative 3. 8 minus 5, that's positive 3. So, negative 3 over positive 3, it is indeed negative 1. If it's just saying take a subtraction and exchange the order, one way you'll have a positive value, the other way you'll have a negative value, but the absolute value will be the same. So it's going to be the same number but opposite signed. This division will always yield negative 1, as long as this value is not exactly that number. We cannot divide by 0. All right. Number 10. Well, first we notice it's a division. If it's a division, we will multiply by the reciprocal, leaving the first fraction the same. We will change our divide to a multiply, and we will all right, now it's just a cancellation process. Well, we see we have 4 y's in the numerator. Well, here's 2 and here's 2. So 2 and 2 is 4. That cancels with that 4. Here we have a squared and a to the first. That's 3 a's. So that's 3 a's will cancel with those 3 a's there. All right, now the constants. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 2 will go into 8 4 times. I could put the ones that are left with my division, but I don't need to show multiplied by 1. So here's what remains. In my numerator, I have a 1 times y times 4. That's 4y. In my denominator, 1 times a times 4. That's 4a. So I had one more division I could have done. 4 divided by 4 is 1. That leaves y divided a. All right. Number 12. Okay, the first thing I want to see is this is a difference of two squares. This y squared minus 1, I can factor that as a y plus 1, y minus 1. And this y squared minus 16 will factor as a y plus 4, y minus 4. Now we're ready to do some canceling, some division. Y plus 4 divides with y plus 4 to leave 1. Y minus 1 divides with y minus 1 again to leave 1. So in my numerator, I have y plus 1 times 1. That's y plus 1. In my denominator, y minus 4 times 1. That's y minus 4. Again, resist the temptation to cancel these y's. They're things added. We don't cancel. We only cancel whenever we have factors multiplied together. And this is my final answer. All right, number 14. First we see we have this division. We will change, invert and multiply, leaving my first fraction the same. 4, I'm going to change that t to an x so we don't get confused with t's and pluses. 4x squared minus 1 over 8x squared minus 2x minus 3. Changing my divide to a multiply, inverting my second fraction. 8x cubed minus 1. I did it again. Flipping over my second fraction. 64 x cubed minus 27. And then this goes in my denominator. 8 x cubed minus 1. All right. This is a difference of two squares. It will factor as 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. This, my big X factoring. All right. Coming over here with coming up top with my big X. In the bottom we have 8 times c. That's 8 times negative 3. That's a minus 24. In the top we have our b value, negative 2. If this one's a negative, we know one will be plus, one will be minus. Well, what will multiply give 24? Yet in this case, subtract to give 2, 6 and 4. We need the 6 to be the negative and the 4 to be the positive. All right, so these will go here. So what we have is x and x plus 4 minus 6. But lastly, we need to divide by a, dividing by 8. Dividing by 8 here and dividing by 8 here. Well, 4 over 8 reduces to 1 over 2. We take the denominator and write it as my coefficient. 6 over 8 reduces to a 3 over 4. Take the denominator and write it as the coefficient. So what we have, my new denominator is 2x plus 1, 4x minus 3. All right. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. Positive 4x and negative 6x is a negative 2x. 1 minus 3, that is minus 3. Okay, so this is my new denominator. Well, now these are both a difference of cubes. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take this one over here. A is the cube root of that one, which is 2x. B is the cube root of that one, which is 1. So now we need that form that we had earlier. a cubed minus b cubed is a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. Just going to fill in our blanks. Okay. So, this new denominator down here, this part here is equal to a minus b, 2x minus 1, a squared, 2x squared is 2x quantity squared is 4x squared, plus a times b, 2x times 1 is plus 2x. Lastly, plus b squared, that's plus 1. Alright. All of this is over 64x cubed. Well, for this one, I'm going to make a new a and a b. For this one, a, the cube root of 64x cubed is 4x. The cube root of 27 is 3. That's my new a and b. So here we go. A minus b, 4x minus 3. Now, a squared, that's quantity 4x squared, that's 16x squared. Plus the product of these, plus 3 times 4, that's 12x. Lastly, this one squared. 3 squared is 9. Alright. Now let's see if we can do any further canceling. We see that 4x minus 3 will cancel with 4x minus 3. These are gone now. 2x minus 1 will cancel with 2x minus 1. 2x plus 1 will cancel with 2x plus 1. So what we're left with are these two factors here. Our result is 16x squared plus 12x plus 9 divided by 4x squared plus 2x plus 1. Alright. Number 16. Alright. First, I will, since it's a divide, I will invert and multiply. So leaving the first fraction the same, x minus 1 over x squared plus 2x plus 1. Changing my divide to a multiply, flipping over my second fraction. Alright, right here in the beginning, we can see that x minus 1 will cancel with x minus 1. Okay, I could factor this, but I know right up front there's nothing else that it's going to cancel with. So I'm ready to simply multiply. 5 times 1, remember, when we say cancel, we mean divide to leave 1, really. X minus 1 goes in x minus 1 one time. X minus 1 goes in x minus 1 one time. There's a 1 remaining. So 1 times 5 is a 5 in my numerator. 1 times this is just that quantity. X squared plus 2x plus 1. That is your best answer on number 16. Number 18. Remember, when adding, we must have a common denominator. Well, this one does have the common denominator, so it remains as x plus 3. Well, since we have that denominator of x plus 3, we can simply combine like terms up top. 3 plus x is 3 plus x, but I'm going to write it as x plus 3 because multiplication is commutative. Well, any quantity divided by itself is 1. Alright, lastly, number 20. Okay, I will begin by factoring. I need a common denominator, so I need to factor the denominators. 2a plus 2 will factor into 2 parentheses a plus 1. A squared minus 1 is a difference of 2 squares. It's a plus 1, a minus 1. Alright, I'm going to rewrite both of these fractions so we can work on them a little bit. First fraction is a plus 5 over 2 parentheses a plus 1. The next fraction is 4 over the product of a plus 1, a minus 1. Alright. Well, we need a common denominator. We need these denominators to be the same. Well, this one has an a plus 1, a minus 1. This one has a 2a plus 1. So what factor is this one missing that this one has? A 2. So we must multiply by a 2 in the denominator and the numerator. Essentially, we've multiplied by 2 over 2, which is 1. We haven't changed the value of this expression. Well, now what is this one missing? It has an a plus 1 and a 2, a plus 1 and a 2. It's missing an a minus 1. So we multiply by an a minus 1 in the bottom and in the top. So when we're multiplying by a binomial, we need to group that in parentheses. So we can see on this one we picked up the a minus 1 factor, and on this one we picked up the 2. Now we're ready to do our addition. The denominator is going to be this common denominator. 2, a plus 1, a minus 1. I wrote the 2 in front. By convention, we typically write the constant in front, but we know multiplication is commutative. The order doesn't matter. Now we're just ready to combine like terms. Well, let's distribute here. A times a is a squared. A times negative 1 is minus 1a. 5 times a is a 5a. And 5 times minus 1 is minus 5. Here we have 4 times 2, that's 8. And that's a plus 8 here. So now we're just combining like terms up top. Nothing is like a squared. Negative 1a plus 5a is a minus 4a. Minus 5 plus 8 is a plus 3. Alright, this is a reasonable answer here, but it turns out we can factor this ever so slightly. This top one will factor into a times a is my a squared. Since this is a plus, there will be 2 of these signs. And 3 is 3 times 1. A times a squared, negative 3 and negative 1 is a negative 4a. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 1. Now you can see that this a minus 1 will divide with this a minus 1 to leave us with a minus 3 over 2 times a plus 1. And that is the best answer on number 20. The final exam will be virtually identical to this review, simply the same type of problems but different numbers.